In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the elevator recall test. So we're in the elevator machine room right now. We have our control modules for our primary recall and our alternate recall. And they will take control of the elevator after one of our devices gets hit, whether it's in front of the elevator, in the machine room, or in the shaft. Of course, before doing all this, make sure you have keys and make sure they work. Don't just test the recall function and not verify that your actual recall keys work. So just a former tip. So we will go through and do the recall for the cabs first, and then we'll do the machine room next, and then we'll do the shaft last. So we're at the elevator. First thing we're going to do, make sure the key works. Put the key in. I'm going to turn it to on. Okay. We're in recall. Can't go anywhere. So now we will turn it back to on, which is normal, and then we'll bypass to reset, then put it back to normal. Let it do its thing. There we go. All right, now we will test our smoke detector. We'll get that activation. There we go. Got the red light. Alright. And then we take our air can. Make sure we air it out. So now on this floor, the door's going to be closed and it's going to go to the next floor. So let's go look at that next floor. See the elevator recall. Alright, here we are on the second floor. So the elevator is in recall. Will not work because it's in recall. So now we need to reset the panel first and then reset the key. So let's go to the panel and reset it. Okay, we're at the annunciator. So we have our alarm light lit up. We have our elevator lobby smoke. So we need to clear this alarm. So system reset. Before we can, there we go. Before we can reset the key. So reset panel first, reset key second. Okay, panel's clear, no alarms. We just have our trouble from our NAC circuit disable. So now let's reset the key. So now we're back at the elevator. Still not working because it's still in recall. We reset the panel, but we have not reset the key yet. So now we're gonna reset the key. Gonna go to the left, bypass, hold it there for a second or two, and then put it back on off. And now we're gonna hit our button. You can see it lit up. Now the elevator's coming down. Then of course, once you verify that it's working, you will do the same process for every single floor. So if you have a 10-story building, that means you'll be doing this process 10 times, once per floor. So I'm only gonna show this on one of the floors. I'm not gonna repeatedly do this over and over again. But just to show that it's working. Now we're gonna go up to the second floor. Take a ride. This elevator is older and slower. Like I said, you'll do all the floors, same process. Test the smoke, reset the panel, reset the key. Here we are, second floor. So we made it. So that is how you do the lobby recalls. All right, back in the elevator machine room. So now we're gonna do the machine room smoke and heat. So you got the smoke on your left and the heat on the right. The heat on the right has some lettering on it to let you know it's a heat detector. So just like before, Gonna send our smoke, except this time it's in the machine room. Put a little puff in there. Get this to activate. Okay, it's active. And then we air it out. And you always want to wait to make sure your elevator has fully recalled with the doors open. So the elevator is already on the correct floor because it hasn't moved. That way, if anyone's trapped inside, you wouldn't want them to lose power as you're about to hit this heat detector, which will flip the breaker and cause it to shunt. So now we'll do our heat, and I'm gonna not aim my heat towards that sprinkler head back there. I'm gonna aim it that way. I'm just gonna wave it so I try not to burn a spot into that fucking heat. Alright, turn red. I heard the machine click. So now we have our smoke active, so the elevator recalled, and we have our heat active, so the power is lost. So now we need to go to the fire panel, reset it, because I'll have 2 alarms. Then I need to reset the breaker to turn the power on. And then finally, I need to reset the recall key to get the elevator back up and running. So let's go to the fire panel. All right, back at the fire panel. So we have our first floor mechanical room smoke and our first floor mechanical room heat for the elevator. So both an alarm, so we're gonna go ahead and do our reset. And we're going to clear these first. And then because we hit the heat, we're gonna do the shunt breaker next to turn the power back on. So wait for these to clear. All right, so our alarms are clear. We just have our trouble for our disable. So now we shall do the shunt breaker, which is right over here. See, it's written on our panel for us, elevator shunt trip inside. And we have our elevator shunt right here, so it's already tripped. So we're gonna flip the breaker first, all the way off, and then all the way on. So now the power to the elevator is back on. So now let's go do the final step, which is to reset the recall key. So now we're at our elevator. Put in the recall. Let's see the alarm going off. We have our fire hat there. So we're going to turn left to bypass, and then back to normal. And we're gonna make sure it recalls, or it activates now. Second floor. This is an older elevator, so please understand it is extremely slow and old. And now I'm trapped. Come on, baby. I know you're decades old. You can do this. There we go. We can do this. There we go. She's an old girl, but she could do it. Oh, maybe this is the saga where I get stuck in the elevator. Come on, baby. Come on. There we go. All right, now we're here at the elevator shaft smoke and heat, which is above the ceiling tile. So we're gonna come up here. I've already opened the door. We have our smoke here on the left and our heat here on the right. grab my cup. Do the smoke first. We're gonna recall the elevator. Okay, we got the red light. And we wait for the elevator to recall, the doors to open up. There we go. Sorry to do this one-handed. Okay. So it sounds like the elevator's already been recalled. So we got our red light flash. We'll just watch it one more time. There we go. So now we do the heat. So you see the writing, the sticker for the thermal. So now we will use our heat gun. And we will, let's see if I can get a better angle. There we go. Try to get the shunt to trigger. So kind of moving the heat up and down so I don't burn one spot. Looking for that red light. Green, green, green. Come on, baby. There we go, red. Okay. Should see it. Red. There we go, red. Okay, so now the smoke and the heat are active. So we can close this guy up. We'll just leave it cracked so we can come back. And now we go to the panel. Okay, so we're back at the panel. We have our elevator shaft smoke detector and our elevator shaft heat detector. So both are active. So we're going to hit the reset so we can clear them first. And then next we will turn the power back on. So we'll hit the shunt or the circuit breaker. Alright, so our alarms are clear. We just have our trouble from our Mac disable. So now we shall go to the circuit breaker panel where we have our labeling here, elevator shunt trip. And as you can see, we have this tripped, so the power's off. You see all these are turned on, except some of these are turned off. All the ones that are turned on. So this is where we're at, elevator shunt. So whenever doing the shunt, you're gonna turn it first all the way off, and then all the way on. So now the power to the elevator's back on. So now we do the last step where we use the reset key. So let's go do that. All right, we're back at the elevator. So let's do the final step, reset our keys. So we're going to the bypass. So left, hold it a couple seconds, and turn it back to off. Now we could use the elevator. It's coming down. Take our key out. And we'll just make sure that it works once it comes down. Whenever this thing gets powered on and off, it's a very old elevator. Gets a little janky. Little janky. It's a slow one. There we go. So we're back open. So we're on floor 1. Let's see if we can not get trapped. Go to floor 2. Would always recommend doing these things with an elevator technician if possible. Even if your client does not schedule them with you to do the elevator testing. And they just give you a key and they say, good luck. But so far so good. So we recalled it and killed the power. Then we reset it, flipped the power back on and bypass key back on. And now we're in it. Now we're on floor 2. So that's how you do the elevator recall.